In Matthew and in Luke, there's two genealogies in the generations of Christ. And a lot of folks will look at that and immediately, and rightly so, they go, hey, there's some differences here. And there's an easy explanation for it, and it's actually really cool because it shows God's plan and the fulfillment of a whole lot of prophecy. But I think sometimes when we look at the genealogies in the Bible, especially when we're younger, we just, kind of skim right over and we miss that stuff. And it's actually really, really neat. What you're seeing in front of you, and then I want to open with a prayer briefly, but what you're seeing in front of you is by, I believe it's Dave Miller. It's Apologetics Press. If you simply search Apologetics Press genealogies, they have a nice write-up on Matthew and Luke. Jim, thanks again, brother. They have a nice write-up on Matthew and Luke, and this is a really neat comparison going, generation by generation, listing side by side what you see starting in Matthew chapter 1 and what you see starting in Luke chapter 3. So it's really cool. So if you want to turn, well, actually, I'll give you some scripture here first. So why are these lineages so important? So you're looking at Matthew, you're looking at Luke. Why are they so important? Property under the law of Moses. Property was distributed via family affiliation. The Aaronic priesthood, you had to be a member of the tribe of Aaron. You had to be a blood relative in order to be a part of the priesthood. You had to be bioaffiliated, is a neat word. And then at some point, if you look at Numbers chapter 1, and the first few verses there, you see that Moses at one point organized the armies via tribe. And that also, if you continue then through Numbers chapter 7, they, at least at one point in time, did a lot of offerings via tribe. So they had to have a way to keep all this straight, especially when it came to passing on wealth, passing on goods and lands and so forth. And then especially to make sure that only the Levites, if you will, continued to be priests. So that was very important. Another thing was the Davidic kingdom of Judah was passed by direct succession. So how would you know all this unless somebody was keeping records? You wouldn't. There's fights over who gets what today, right, when somebody passes. It would be no different back then. So they kept, this was very important to the Jews. And what we're about to see is that these generations fulfilled prophecies starting in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. And I want to take a moment and read to you some of the promises given in Genesis and make note of some of the promises elsewhere. And if you want to turn with me, I'm going to go to Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. Hopefully it's familiar to you. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise you on the head, and you shall bruise him on the heel. So this was the first, let's call it an allusion to Christ. Your seed. And we see, at least in Luke's genealogy, that Jesus goes all the way back to Adam, the Son and the Son of God. Then when we look at Genesis chapter 12, verse 3, and we'll get to the genealogies. I thought I'd save the names for after we look at the background. Genesis 12, verse 3, and I will bless those who bless you, and the ones who curses you I will curse. And in you all the families of the earth will be blessed. So here, God says to Abram that through him or in him, all the families of the earth will be blessed. And when we look at Matthew's genealogy, we see that Matthew takes it all the way back to Abram. So Luke covers that Genesis 3 prophecy. and Abram. And then Matthew goes to the Abram prophecy. And I think what we're going to find is that has something to do with the audience they were writing to. But let's keep looking. While we're in Genesis, we see again, he's called Abraham at this point. God later calls him Abraham. And if you want to flip to Genesis chapter 22, verse 18, this was a really important concept. You're going to hear this phrasing repeated over and over again. Genesis chapter 22, verse 18. Again, God's talking to Abraham. In your seed, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed because you have obeyed my voice. There's a similar promise to Isaac in Genesis chapter 26, verse 4. I will multiply your descendants as the stars of heaven and give your descendants all these lands. And by your descendants, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because Abraham obeyed me and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. With Jacob, in Genesis 28, verse 14. Your descendants will also be like the dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. And in you and in your descendants shall all the families of the earth be blessed. We seem to be picking up on an important theme in Genesis. Let's look at one more passage in Genesis. Let's look at Judah. This one's a little different if I remember. Judah, Genesis chapter 49, verse 10. Oh, yes. This is one to hold on to. We'll talk about this one. Genesis chapter 49, verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until Shiloh comes, and to him shall be the obedience of the peoples. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. So we've got a promise there. So we saw in multiple places that through the line of Abraham, all the families of the earth would be blessed. Now we know today that Jesus was the ultimate fulfillment of that. Jesus in the kingdom that he brought. And now we also sing in Genesis 49:10 that the scepter would not depart from Judah. A couple other places you can look, and there's many more that Jesus was the fulfillment of, but specifically in this genealogy, you've got a reference to Jesse here. Jesse's in this genealogy. You can go to Isaiah chapter 11. I'm not going to go there right now, but that whole chapter, all of chapter 11, is about the root of Jesse. It's about the Messiah and the kingdom. I want to look at, let's actually read 2 Samuel chapter 7. 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 16. Now, part of this you might be able to say was about Solomon, or maybe it had some dual meaning, but verse 16 for sure, this is a reference to Jesus. In my humble opinion, your house and your kingdom shall endure before me forever. Your throne shall be established forever. How much time do I have? Okay, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go there now, but we could go to Psalms 89, and we could read more about what David had to say about this. We could go to Acts chapter 2 and read about the throne and how how Peter preached from that psalm, the Lord said to my Lord. But where I find some people think is a discrepancy, and we're going to go through in just a minute, and I'll briefly read through this genealogy, is here we've got in Judah that he's told that the scepter would not depart Judah, right? And here we've got David being told that your house and your kingdom shall endure forever before me. So you see those two ideas? But then we go forward, and I just think this is really cool, and it's all right here in the genealogy, to Jeconiah. You guys remember Jeconiah? In Jeremiah chapter 22, 28 through 30. So if you're looking down through here, you see Jeconiah on the paternal line in Matthew's on your sheet. Jeconiah is underneath Josiah, right before Shealtiel and Zerubbabel. Jeconiah is there. And Jeconiah in Jeremiah chapter 22, God was not happy with him. Jeremiah chapter 22, verses 28 through 30. Now, in the NASB says Coniah. Is this man Coniah a despised, shattered jar? Or is he an undesirable vessel? Why have he and his descendants been hurled out and cast into a land that they had not known? O land, 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 hear the word of the Lord. Thus says the Lord, write this man down childless, a man who will not prosper in his days, for no man of his descendants will prosper, sitting on the throne of David or ruling again in Judah. Why is that important? As we're looking at these two lineages. And again, we're going to go read through these lineages and see the differences and so forth, but you're getting to look at them side by side here. And what's interesting is when we go and actually read them, one goes from Jesus back, the other one goes forward, but it's neat to look at it side by side like this. How is it possible? Hopefully the Jews wondered this. I think our premillennial friends still have issues with this. How is it possible for the scepter not to depart Judah? Right? What else did we read? The scepter not to depart Judah, and at the same time, a descendant of Jeconiah is not to ever sit on the throne. Because Jesus was both a descendant of David and a descendant of Jeconiah. So how's that possible? Well, one answer would be Jesus is not sitting on the throne in Jerusalem ruling over Judah. This was never about a physical kingdom. And so if we continue, so when we read this, so this was one thing this is one of the discrepancies that they try and point out about these genealogies. And when we look at this, we go, wait a minute. No son on the throne in Jerusalem. Jesus is on the throne of David. And we know that for sure when we go to Acts chapter 2. But God was never talking about a physical kingdom. God was always talking about a spiritual kingdom that starts on this earth, that we get our membership, our citizenship to on this earth, and then lasts forever. There's another thing, though, that we could look at on that as well, and that's that on the paternal line, I might be going too far ahead without actually reading it first, but on the paternal line, he was a descendant of Jeconiah, right? But who's his dad? God. Right. He's not a blood relative of Jeconiah. Unless I missed something here. No, I'm just double checking my thoughts here. All right. He's not a blood relative of Jeconiah. But regardless, it was never a physical kingdom. There is no discrepancy here. Let's take a moment and let's read through, and I'll be fast, and go ahead and giggle if I mispronounce things, but I'll try not to. Let's go to, I'll read Matthew first. It's really interesting. You can see the audience when you look at the way these are written, the way begots and so forth versus the way Luke's written. Okay, Matthew chapter 1, verse 1, the record of the genealogy of Jesus, the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. So you see what we're going kingship, and then the father of the Jewish nation. Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, and Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers. Judah was the father of Perez and Zerah by Tamar. Perez was the father of Hezron, and Hezron the father of Ram. Ram was the father of Amminadab, and Amminadab the father of Nahshon. and Nahshon the father of Salmon, and Salmon was the father of Boaz by Rahab. Boaz was the father of Obed by Ruth, and Obed the father of Jesse. Jesse was the father of David the king. David was the father of Solomon by Bathsheba, who had been the wife of Uriah. Solomon was the father of Rehoboam. Rehoboam the father of Abijah, and Abijah the father of Asa. Asa the father of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat the father of Joram, and Joram the father of Uzziah. Uzziah was the father of Jotham. Jotham the father of Ahaz, and Ahaz the father of Hezekiah. Hezekiah was the father of Manasseh. Manasseh the father of Amon, and Amon the father of Josiah. Josiah became the father of Jeconiah. There's that guy who got in trouble. And his brothers at the time of deportation to Babylon. After the deportation to Babylon, Jeconiah became the father of Shealtiel, and Shealtiel the father of Zerubbabel. Zerubbabel was the father of Abihud, Abihud the father of Eliakim, and Eliakim the father of Azar, Azar the father of Zadok, Zadok the father of Akim, and Akim the father of Eliud. Eliud was the father of Eleazar, Eleazar the father of Mathan, Mathan the father of Jacob, Jacob was the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, by whom Jesus was born, who is called the Messiah. I'm not going to get into all the 14s. Those are kind of cool if you want to study that later. But who do you think that was written for? Jews. Yeah, that was written to Judean Jews. And it was the royal lineage of the Davidian kingship. It was the lineage of Joseph and Solomon. So we have, we're really looking at a Jewish audience. Then when we go to Luke, and I know a lot of you are very studied in here, so you know that Luke was written largely for a different audience. Anybody know who Luke was written to off the top, roughly? Gentiles. Yeah. Yeah, Luke was written to Gentiles, so it would make sense then that Luke would want to trace the genealogy all the way back, not just to Abraham, who would be considered the father of Israel, or the Jewish nation, but rather take it all the way back to Adam, who started all of mankind, all people. So when we look at the difference here, the other thing that I think is neat with this is Luke goes the other direction. Now he starts with Jesus and works back. So versus the other one started, with Abraham and worked forward to Jesus. So it's in, I apologize. I said, it is Luke chapter 3. Goodness. Luke chapter 3, verse 23. So, and also Matthew started with emphasizing this relationship to David. Luke kind of interjects his genealogy just before Jesus starts his ministry, right after he's been baptized. So in Luke chapter 3, verse 23, when he began his ministry, Jesus himself was about 30 years of age. Now this little piece here becomes important. Being, as was supposed, the son of Joseph, the son of Eli, the son of Mathat, the son of Levi, the son of Melchi, the son of Jannai, the son of Joseph, the son of Matthias, the son of Amos, the son of Nahum, the son of Hesli, the son of Nagai, the son of Maath, the son of Matthias, the son of Simeon, the son of Joshek, the son of Joda, the son of Jonan, the son of Resa, the son of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, the son of Neri, the son of Melchi, the son of Addi, the son of Kosam, the son of Elmadam, the son of Er, the son of Joshua, the son of Eleazar, the son of Joram, the son of Mathat, the son of Levi, the son of Simeon, the son of Judah, the son of Joseph, the son of Jonam, the son of Eliakim, the son of Meliah, the son of Menah, the son of Matha, the son of Nathan, the son of David, the son of Jesse, the son of Obed, the son of Boaz, the son of Salmon, the son of Nahshon, the son of Amminadab, the son of Admin, the son of Ram, the son of Hezron, the son of Perez, the son of Judah, the son of Jacob, the son of Isaac, the son of Abraham, the son of Terah, the son of Nahor, the son of Serug, the son of Ru, the son of Peleg, the son of Heber, the son of Shelah, the son of Canaan, the son of Arphaxad, the son of Shem, the son of Noah, the son of Lamech, the son of Methuselah, the son of Enoch, the son of Jared, the son of Mahalalel, the son of Canaan, the son of Enosh, the son of Seth, and the son of Adam, the son of God. Wow. But if you haven't studied this before, or maybe you had and you wondered, we notice there's some differences in between these two lines. One, they go back to different places. There are definitely some similarities, but there's some differences as well. And you see, Apologetics Press takes the approach that I take, which is that even though they started with saying Joseph, I really think that Luke was concerned with natural generations, not Hebrew legalistic paternal generations or lineage, and that this was Mary's line. But then why did he start by talking about Joseph? Anybody know? Thoughts? Do you remember some of the different passages in the Old Testament where if a man passed, or if a dad, let's say, didn't have a son, then his daughter, if he had a daughter, would become the heiress until she was married. Or one of his brothers, if he didn't have a daughter, was supposed to take and continue the property and continue the name. You can go to Numbers for some of this stuff. Forgive me, I jumped way ahead of my notes here. You can go to Numbers for some of this stuff. I think you can also see some of it in Deuteronomy. But the other thing that we notice is, in my studies, in the Hebrew language, there's not a word for son-in-law. And you can actually go and see this other places in the Old Testament as well, that they're just called sons. They're just sons. And so I think it's telling. And so the thought is that Heli or Hesley, depending on what your version says, could simply have been Mary's mom, or Mary's dad, excuse me, and that Joseph was his son-in-law. And if he didn't have sons on his own, they just went up that side. Thoughts, questions? Anybody else have any different ideas? Not sure if I want to ask that, but no? Okay. It took us like over an hour to get through this with the teens, by the way, but I had them read, and that was kind of amusing on the names. We had fun with that. So this is really neat, though. We see that Jesus has royal blood on both sides. He's got David on both sides. He's got Abram, Isaac, Jacob, and Judah on both sides. And this is telling because we see in Romans chapter 1, verse 3. Romans chapter 1, verse 3. Concerning his son, who was born of a descendant of David according to the flesh, who was declared the Son of God with power by the resurrection from the dead, according to the Spirit of holiness, Jesus Christ our Lord. He was a descendant of David and the Son of God. So descendant of David on mom's side and on dad's side, but by blood, he was the Son of God. I'm trying to make sure I haven't missed anything here in my notes. I'm amazed by how all these genealogies come together. I'm amazed that there's not a lot more supposed discrepancies. We've got time left, so the only potential, and this is an interesting study, the only potential discrepancy I've actually seen here, it's really not much of a discrepancy, would be in Canaan. You notice how there's two Canaans right there? And when you go to the Old Testament, that second Canaan you don't see anywhere. Or you don't see any genealogies from them. So that's led some to believe, including actually Apologetic Press, when you look at their study Bible, that maybe that was an error in copies of copies, because the oldest text, I mean the absolutely oldest text we have access to, do not have that second Canaan. But some of the newer texts do. That's very interesting. Does it change the meaning at all? No, it really doesn't. All the important stuff is still there. It doesn't change doctrine, doesn't change anything. We have so much data going back to and we have text going back. I think the oldest text, when I was reading about this, I was rereading some articles this morning on this lineage alone, are like date back to 140 AD. I mean, the oldest actual physical copy we have. It's amazing. It's amazing how much data we have verifying how close to the original all of our works are. How do they do this? How do they keep all this straight? How did anybody but God preserve all of this and make all of it fit? Go ahead.
Scribes wrote everything down and documented stuff. And of course, at the destruction of Jerusalem, a lot of that information was lost, 70 AD. And so he's writing, and that's why we read and study Hebrew so much, because it says, that Christ did not come out of the tribe of Levi, he came out of Judah, like Melchizedek. And so he had to get the Jewish people to believe, and not for them to be changed to accept Christ as the high priest. And that's why it was, when it says it was out of Judah, it wasn't going to be out of that. So it had to be a change. You had to get off that genealogy, because it's from the heart, it's not from the outside. You're not born into salvation.
That's right.
So that's why they had to do it this way.
Yeah, that's right. No longer would neighbor teaching his neighbor, fear the Lord, fear the all know the Lord. Yeah, that's good stuff. Thank you. Man. Guys, we've got time left, and that's all that I had. Is there any questions or comments before I close with the prayer requests? I can't do more than 25 minutes on genealogy. Yeah, go ahead.
I had a teacher once put forth the idea that the reason for giving the maternal line was that the mother knew that the baby was a Hebrew baby. And so, and that would be understood and accepted among people commonly. And that would be the importance of giving Mary's line.
Interesting. Because it's a Hebrew baby.
Yes, the mother would know who the father is, even if no one else did.
Got you. Okay. Huh. Just Jewish tradition, Jewish law.
Well, yes, that, but also that would be something that the Gentiles would accept and respect, that the mother knew who the father was. Even if it was, no matter what the circumstances of the child's birth, the mother knew who the father was.
So it was a proof. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, and Luke definitely did talk more. Luke, more than any other gospel, talks about the involvement of women and women that supported Jesus' ministry financially and so forth. And so I always thought it was neat that Luke would include the ladies' line. Any other thoughts before we ask for prayer requests?